I was diagnosed at 12 and there were so many struggles. I couldn't really read. Reading was so difficult. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't spell anything. I'd be in class and my teacher would be writing things on the whiteboard for everyone to copy down, and she would always then rewrite it in my book for me because I couldn't keep up. And that was it was a bit embarrassing because everybody knew. Also times in class where we'd be working on a worksheet and we'd have to read a whole page writing, and there was a certain instance that I remember not being able to read the worksheet and answer the questions because there was just so much information and I was focusing so hard on trying to read it that I couldn't take any of the information in. And it was kind of like reading without any glasses, as if I needed glasses. It was all blurred together and it was really difficult. Writing was always a struggle. Having to just process everything and having to write it down, it never came out the same that it was in my head. Even something like a really short sentence, or having an idea in my head that I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea, and writing it down. I couldn't write it down sometimes because I'd just forget it instantly. It was it was in there and then it was just gone. And having a word such as saw and knowing that it's spelled S-A-W, but then spelling it S-O-R-E. I knew it wasn't spelt like that, but I'd write it down like that anyway. And it was frustrating. Writing things down from the whiteboard, I used to look at the whiteboard, look at what it was saying, look down, write some, look back up, and I would just lose my place. And I'd have to scan from the first word all the way back down to where I was at, just to remember where I was and continue writing. And it would happen every single time. And it was just such a long process that I just ended up just giving up most of the time. I did after school tutoring for 4 years, and it really taught me to really learn how to focus in class and change the way that I learn. But that can only do so much, and it still was a struggle, but it just made things a little bit easier. And focusing so much on trying to learn was just using all of my energy, and by the end of the day I was just exhausted. I wouldn't even study. I really wouldn't. I couldn't write notes and try and remember things like that because that's just not how I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. So I wouldn't prepare. I'd go into the exam with the knowledge that I'd learned in class and just hoping that that was enough to get through it. This year I did take notes. I took pages and pages of notes and I was surprised. I was like, oh my god. But so yeah, definitely more prepared. A lot easier to remember things as well. Once I've written notes, then I'll read through them and I'll remember it and I'll take in the information. I spent less time taking the exams this year. I finished everything quicker. So I do a lot of arts and performing arts or just creative arts, and I used to think I was good before, and now I've just gotten even better. Without having the struggles of everything that I had before, I found I'm just so much more creative. I'm able to draw better, which is great. I'm able to perform better. Everything's just become easier. Remembering scripts was easy to like learn the lines, but when it came to actually performing and trying to remember what the page said, came in as difficult because you couldn't focus on what the page said and act as the character at the same time, so everything kind of just became difficult. I'd say it took about like 10 minutes before everything kind of was really like, wow, that's different. Really different. Like, incredibly different. It's kind of scary how different it was. Everything was so much easier. I guess it's like, you kind of knew that reading was easier for everyone else, but actually experiencing that, like, it's crazy. I didn't realize it was that easy. It's kind of just like a natural thing. It's like, why is it so hard for dyslexic people? It doesn't make sense. When I was reading, everything used to blur together, and it was the worst. I couldn't really read that much. But now everything's so much more clear, and I can focus more. And it's same things with my writing, even, because sometimes my own writing would blur, and that just shouldn't happen. You've really got nothing to lose. There's so much to gain from doing this, because everything just changes for the better. Things just become so much easier, and I'd recommend it to everyone who had dyslexia. Yeah, I really just couldn't imagine having dyslexia for life.